it up, bet it up. Where are you from?
I'm from Jersey.
From Jersey, okay. Damn, I feel like everybody I talk to is from that side. Like literally half the people I have on is from that side.
Jersey to Mecca. Northeast of Mecca.
What is it like? I asked this question. I don't know if you know Brother with a Beard. Kev,
Brother with a beard.
another content creator.
Is he light skinned with glasses?
Yeah.
I think hold on, I'm about to type him in. Brother with a beard. I seen this dude before. He do like a lot of Ralph stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I asked him the same question. What is it about the East Coast? Because literally half of everyone I've talked to is from that side of the world.
I think it's the level of tenacity. We move at a different pace. The cadence is just different. Everything you do is very fast paced. Like when I go somewhere else, I instantly feel like I'm in kind of like I guess you could say like the East Coast is like a version of like the hyperbolic time chamber. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
damn.
You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah.
if I go to Cali, I'll feel like I will.
Hold on now. I'm West Coast, baby. You feel me? You can't.
I'm telling you, like I went to Cali. I feel like I do way more in a day there than I do here. Because they just move slower. Like when I get up, it just
go
moves.
time.
Yeah, it's just go time.
Did you go to LA?
Yeah, I went to LA.
Okay. Yeah, I'm from the Bay Area. So it's a little different speed out there too. I'm just always so curious because I feel like literally I'll say about 80% of people I've had on as virtual guests, they from the East Coast. And I'm like, damn, like it's really like that. Like everybody just like as soon as they drop something, they picking up something new, something like I was like, damn, like, is it really like that? I ain't been in New York yet though. So I need to make my way out there.
Oh, you definitely should.
Yeah, I need to. Cause like basically half the people that follow me too on social media is from like New York area, like that Jersey area and all that. So I don't know. I need to make my way out this year somehow.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely should.
You into anime? I mean, that was a crazy pull, right? That was a crazy pull right there.
Anime, not. I would say my answer would be no. I would say no. But I feel like the certain things that I watch, like I don't consider anime. Like Pokemon is an anime, but I don't consider that anime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I rock with Pokemon. Dragon Ball Z is anime, but I don't really consider that anime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's been like Americanized. You know what I mean? Like kind of to a certain extent. The only anime I could say like I truly, which I didn't finish, but I truly was watching was Yu Yu Hakusho. I would think that's the best. I think that's the coldest one.
Yeah, no, you know ball. That's the OG. Ball.
That's the only one I'm like, yeah, this is cold.
Yeah, nah, Yu Yu Hakusho is the OG, bro. There's so many series that's built off the back of that alone. Like they started that whole like tournament saga.
Yeah,
I'm rocking with that. All right, cool, man. Always going on, man. It's your boy Kloth, and I'm back with another video, man. Looking for my starting swear I am not going nowhere, and this gonna be another segment of Kloth Talk. Now, again, Kloth Talk is just where I talk about the trending topics in fashion and streetwear, and I bring people on who have those same passions. I'm gonna tell you exactly why I followed you. We've never had a conversation. I'm gonna tell you exactly why I followed this guest today. When it comes to social media, a lot of people have the same opinions. And like I feel like my main goal when it comes to like when I follow people is like I want to hear different things. Even if I don't necessarily agree with it, I like hearing different perspectives. And this is exactly what this brother does. I feel like I've heard certain things like the Ralph Lauren thing, the denim tears thing. I'm like, oh yeah, he pushing boundaries. I'm like, okay, cool. I rock with his content. And overall, just great sense of style. You know, again, the reason why I followed you is like the different perspectives. We have none other than Sean on this thing, man. What's going on with you, bro?
Not much. How you?
I'm doing smooth, bro. I'm doing smooth. Another day, another opportunity. So I really want to always kick this off, bro, because I feel like, you know, I scrolled down to the bottom of your page And the first post that I seen that was on that page, I don't know if anything got taken off, was from 2020. So I kind of just want to like,
probably some things that got taken off.
where does it all start for you? Like, what is that beginning period when it comes to content creation?
Damn, when it comes to content creation, but I mean, like, I feel like, what do you mean by content creation? Because it's like, if I be honest with you, I feel like me and my friends were like the first people really like kind of doing fit pics for real. Like,
okay,
to a certain degree, though. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're counting that as content creation, because at that time it wasn't like we trying to make careers out of this. This was like we was doing it for fun. But if you're talking about like actually like posting consistently and doing stuff like that, I would probably say like when I probably like really started trying to take it for real, but I've been inconsistent. But lately I've been like really on it, was probably 2019 for real.
Okay, so it's real early on, like before like that big wave that got pushed in like 2020.
Yeah.
Okay,
for sure.
okay.
I would say like COVID was like the peak for me, because I felt like I was like seeing it, and a couple of my friends like are in the industry, and I was like, well, I'm home now, you know what I mean? This is my opportunity to jump all in. It's either now or never, you know what I mean? That's how I just looked at it. Like the whole world was changing at that point. So I was like, okay, this is my opportunity to be like, all right, I'm gonna do this for real.
Nah, I think that's why for a lot of people, even for me, like what's crazy is prior to 2020, I was anti-social media. I feel like I've always been able to like dress myself, but I was anti-social media. But I feel like when the pandemic happened, sitting at the crib, I don't like to stay still. So like the pandemic was a shock to me because I couldn't go to work. I was in the crib, and then California was probably the most strict you could be when it comes to like the restrictions. So I was like, man, I gotta do something. So I went outside. I didn't even have a tripod. I had a chair that I leaned up against a water bottle and was taking pictures. So I feel like for a lot of people, I always say this, like the pandemic either made some people or broke some people. Like it was like no in between. Like a lot of people really got they push in 2020, and like a lot of people got set back. Obviously, you know, the hardships that came, but like it was really a time to be had back then.
No, that's what it's a pandemic. The reason why we even on this call.
No,
you get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like a lot of people really goes over their head. Like Google Meet, Zoom, all those type of things. Like content creation, like setting up a tripod and all that stuff. Because that's what I was doing. Like I was taking fit pics with selfie stick, with a remote joint, and I feel like that really was the make or break for everything. To be honest with you.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy that you bring up the selfie stick and the remote access. As long as I've been making content since 2020, I still set the timer on my phone. I don't use I have the timer. I just like the natural flow for me is like press 10 seconds, then get set up. Maybe I should get the remote. I find that's a lot of work.
Honestly, the remote is better, but the problem with the remote is like, my challenge with the remote is like you got to do it in a way where it don't look like you got a remote in your hand. You get what I'm saying? That was my difficulty with that, and that's what I didn't love. But like now it's like, because I have friends that do it. I just got back into trying to take fit pics, to be honest. Like I've been like kind of like done with that for a minute, because I felt like it was kind of like overdone, and it was a little bit like it wasn't really pushing my content necessarily. So I'm like, I'm kind of good off of this. But recently I felt like I got to get back into like my roots in a sense. So like I'm trying to get back into it. But the whole tripod thing, it was kind of like throwing me off. So that's kind of like why I had stopped it. But recently I just got back into it for
yeah. I honestly fell off with doing fit pics too. Like if anybody, like prior to 2022, I was posting twice a day. Easy money. It could be fit pic, photo dump, and then I go fit pic, photo dump again. Like I was posting twice a day. Somewhere between 2023 and 2024, I was just like, man, Instagram got weak to me. And that's when I pivoted to YouTube. And YouTube is like I love my Instagram family. So if y'all watching this, bro, like, listen, I still rock with y'all. But YouTube is really where I feel it's still untapped. And I feel like I could really be myself. I feel like Instagram is too polished. I hate the whole like everything is mood board aesthetic now. And it's like, damn.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Cause I personally tried to do YouTube myself, but my problem was that like long form editing, I can't sit there and do long form editing. So I had to, when I was first doing YouTube, I had to get an editor. And then that got a little bit too costly for me because I also kind of like quit my job to kind of like go full into it. So I was like, I can't really do the YouTube how I want it. So that's why I was like, all right, I could go to short form because I could manage to edit. My attention span is going to allow me to edit something that's short form. So I was like, okay, I could do something like that. I definitely agree. Like YouTube is like it's a different lane. Like still to this day, like that's how I really got into the fashion for real with like YouTube and stuff like that. Like there were other gateways, but like YouTube was probably like my university for real.
Yeah, for sure. I just edited a video that was like an hour and 45 minutes. Like,
yeah,
I'll be having to lock myself in this room, bro, and just like create a vibe because like that attention span quick. Like
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Cool. There's something that ping off on my phone. I'm like, damn, I just wasted 30 minutes. I gotta get back to it. I feel like we focused in a little bit too much. Let's broaden the scope a little bit because I want to know, like, you know, was this always the plan for you? Like, I want to, you know, talk about early childhood. Like, what was your interest and like, you know, what was the career path from, you know, graduating high school and then getting into adulthood? Like, what does that look like for you?
No, it wasn't always the plan. No, I think that initially, my whole life, I wanted to be an attorney. My entire life. I think that when I got to college, I had this class. It was my major, because my school was weird. I just went to whatever school would give me the most money, scholarship wise, because I was a good student. But I went to a school in Jersey City, St. Peter's University. I don't know if you watch ball, but like they were in the March Madness a couple of years ago and stuff like that. But essentially, when I had this professor and she basically showed me like there was a bunch of different sides of the law. And when I understood that, I knew that like, okay, I wanted to like get into the entertainment side of like doing like contracts. Basically, kind of like I wanted to be like an agent, essentially. Like I went to school to be like an attorney for real, like maybe like a business or a prosecutor, criminal justice, whatever. So criminal justice was my major. And then when I had this class, it was business law, but it was 10 courses, essentially. It was 10 different classes, but same professor. She's taught all other avenues outside of criminal. So then that's when I learned all the avenues of law. And then when I got into the entertainment side, I learned that I don't necessarily, for what I actually wanted to do, I don't necessarily need to be a lawyer to get into that avenue. So then I graduated school, but in the midst of school, I also had like I had a roommate, and we were kind of like on the same wavelength at the same time. And I kind of convinced him to like, yo, let's like, I'm into the fashion, you kind of into it too, like, and we both like we like vintage, we like different things, because that was like really like my lane at first, like the vintage, and it still is my lane, to be honest with you. But we were kind of just like, let's start a brand. So we started a brand, and basically like the brand was like doing numbers on campus. So I was like, damn, like this is actually like a lane for me. And at the time, like it really wasn't like about the bread at all, even though like we was getting to it on campus with the bread. But after school, I realized, I was like, oh, I'm gonna take a year off. I'm not gonna go to school to be an attorney. And a lot of my friends were also like in the industry in different ways, from photography to stylist to different things. So I kind of realized like my lane isn't necessarily designing, right? Because I like to design, but that's not really like, I want to say that's like my strongest suit, right? I have a very good eye of like just putting things together. So I would use like certain references to design. And I feel like that's not fully what design really is. So then me and my partner, we agreed like after school, we was gonna like, we put the brand on hold for a little bit. And he did his thing. He like sells vintage to like celebrities and stuff like that now. And that's when I kind of got into like, what am I gonna do creatively? So I started getting into more like fit pics, content. Then I realized like styling was more of my passion. So I was like, okay, like my eye for putting things together is more my lane. So then that's when I started like getting into styling.
So I just want to take it back real quick, just so I can figure out this point in your life when you took, because I feel like a lot of people do this, and I don't think enough people talk about it. When you took that gap year, was there a plan to go back to school, or was it like I just need to figure things out?
Honestly, I don't know, to be honest with you, because it was like I could go back to school, but it's like, damn. Like at the time, it was like a big thing. People were taking LSATs and like killing themselves. Like it was a whole degree of difficulty. And I was like, do I really want to be an attorney? Like, is that like how I saw my life? You know what I mean? And I don't know if that's necessarily like how I saw my life. Sometimes I still like contemplate it. Like I could always go back to go be an attorney. Like I have like lawyers that will give me like opportunities to be like paralegals and stuff like that, just like off of connections and professors that I had. But I'm like, I don't know if that's like really how I view my life, like how I see it. So when I took the gap year at first, initially I would say like, yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I'll just go back to school in a year from now. But I was like, I want to start making money. I want to start doing this. It really wasn't like a couple months afterward. I was like, yeah, I'm probably not going to go back for real.
The main thing I want to like revisit that is because I feel like college, as we progress in society, is starting to become more of a hindrance than it is actually like something that used to kickstart a lot of people's like careers. Like the reality is it's probably going to be unaffordable in the next 5 to 10 years. Like not even like reasonable to go to college, in the way that AI is taking over and the way that it's kind of like implementing itself in like business is like, I don't know what that looks like in the next 5 to 10 years, truthfully. And I went to college in Arizona and I graduated. And I always think back now, like, because what I'm doing now doesn't necessarily, I'm in marketing.
Oh, okay.
So like, it doesn't necessarily like, I don't necessarily use what I learned in college and apply it today, even though learn great things and I, have that information, but I'm not necessarily applying what I learned in college to what I do in the real world now. And what I want to do is go full time with the content thing. So it's like, it's just interesting. Like I always think back to like, if I could do it all over, would I go back to college or would I not do it over? Like I contemplate that myself.
I think so too. Like honestly, if I could do it all over again, I would have still went to college, because I feel like college was about to me, it was about experience and networking. It wasn't about like what I learned. But with that same time and token, I probably would have got a degree in something like finance or something like that, because the way the world shifted, I would have been able to just work completely remote and still do my passions at the same time. I feel like that's kind of like what it's really about. I felt like for so long, I was like trying to look at a job, because like I said, I went to school for law. So then afterwards, I was trying to get a job in things that were going to be creative, like a marketing or whatever the case may be, because I didn't have a traditional college route to allow me to get to that. So I was like interviewing all these different places because I wanted a job in something creative, because that's how my brain worked. But I was like, you know what? I'd rather just get a job that's going to make me some money and just work on my creative to just use that money to fund what I got. So if I had to do it all over again, I probably would have, even though like my passion was like law and creative stuff, I probably would have got a job in like accounting or finance and stuff like that. because a lot of my friends, they have jobs like that, but they have the means to now fund whatever they want to do. That's probably what I would have did, honestly.
No, that's a fact. I want to, because you said something and you said it very quickly, but I want to go back to it. I have personally, in my college experience, have learned more going to club meetings, networking with people that were like smarter than me. Those people are still my friends to this day. I've learned more outside of the classroom than I did inside the classroom. That's a fact. That is a fact. So if you in college, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, because ultimately this is a decision that you have to make yourself. But like, you have to get outside the classroom. If you only learn it in the classroom, you already losing. You losing. That's when people will be like, "Oh yeah, college is a scam." It's only a scam if you let it be a scam. You have to apply yourself outside of that. So I wanted to go back to that because you skipped over it, and I'm telling you, bro, like my whole college experience, club meetings, going to different job fairs, and people I met changed my life for real.
No, that's a fact. Internships, everything. Like,
oh yeah, facts.
Yeah.
Are we close in age? How old are you?
I'm 30.
Oh, okay, so I'm 29.
Okay.
So we were right around the same age. All right, cool. So let's go back to the pandemic, because I didn't put this on the list of questions, but I'm very curious. Pandemic. I seen one of my homies, he made a video about this. When you were creating content back then, were you getting like partnerships like 2020, 2021, 2022, like partnerships with different companies, different brands and all that?
To be honest, no. Honestly, still to this day, I don't really get partnerships for real. Like, I feel like my content is like, how could I explain it? Actually, let me not say that. I get partnerships, or I get like some things like asked to me or offered to me rather. Or sometimes people want a gift or they want to do that. But a lot of times, like, I turn it down because I feel like it don't align where I see myself, or it's not to my level of standard personally of like where I feel like I should be at. So if it don't align with my brand aesthetically, or it's not to where I see my level of what my content can be, or where it is at the time, I kind of like turn it down. So a lot of like, I would say like I have very minimal, like, I don't think I've ever actually had like a real brand partnership, because a lot of times like I don't actually like, I kind of like turn it down. And a lot of gifting I definitely turn down for sure.
Fashion Nova, do not hit them. Do not.
Yeah,
But the question I want to ask though, because you know you're on social media, you see what's going on, you see what the current landscape is. From 2020 to 2026, especially in the month of February, this is the least I've seen brands discuss Black culture, try to give partnerships to Black creators, try to like I feel like the overall, and I mean that's for a multitude of reasons, you know, the whole what's going on in the world. But it's like, have you seen either people you're connected with, people that you see on social media that you follow, have you seen them get less partnerships? I guess that's the question I'm asking, because on my end, people that I used to be popping like 4 partnerships a week, it's going a couple months and I feel like that money dried up a little bit. So I'm curious to see if you're seeing that.
I'm wondering exactly what you're asking me. Are you asking me like, are partnerships dwindling as a whole, or partnerships dwindling for people of our color?
For people of our color.
I feel like that's a topic right now that I've like been seeing, like not only in this fashion space, but I've been seeing like people talk about just in general on like, especially like on TikTok, about people of our color like not receiving as many partnerships. I personally feel like, I don't know that how can I explain it? I think that it is true, but it's not true for people that I'm friends with. I'll say that, because a lot of people that the people that I'm friends with, to be honest with you, right? I actually don't think I don't think I've had any Caucasian or I don't think I have any friends that are not minorities in the content creation space. So I would say that a lot of my friends, they receive a lot of partnerships. I would say that for sure.
Okay. I'll give my perspective. And what I think I'm seeing is people who are at the top of the top. Let's say people who have the 100 plus, the 100K plus, and beyond. Those individuals have, like, if there was a pot of money for content creators, that pot is now solely for content creators who have a certain status. When I feel like prior to that, like 2020, 2021, especially during the era of like, a lot of like the riots that was happening, a lot of companies like, having solidarity with the Black community. Like, I'm keep it a buck, bro. 2020, 2021, 2022, I was touching some chicken. To you. But like, I also took a break from like Instagram, which was like the main driving force for like my, partnership bag. So, but I also see that with people who are in that 50K, people in that, 80K space, like they're not receiving the same amount of partnerships. Like, again, I've been on social media for like 6 years straight, and I see the people that like are still big. They used to have 5, 6, 8 a month. It's 2 now. It may go a whole couple of, a couple months without seeing it. So it's just like I'm seeing the space kind of like change. And like, I'm friends with people like Drew Joyner. And like, obviously he's doing well. Like, that's not the issue. But I'm also friends with people who are making substantially great content as well, who are in like that 20, 30K space, and they're just not receiving anything. So I'm curious what's happening in the space as a whole.
I feel like that's really two-part, right? Yeah, a lot of times first of all, if you're a minority in anything, you're going to be in a box. You know what I mean? They're going to automatically try to subject you into a box. But I feel like I don't want to use the words even bigger than that. But for a lack of a better term, like the current just state of the economy, like none of these companies have money, to be honest with you. None of these companies got budgets. They don't got allocations. They don't have none of that, right? So just even like personally, like interviewing at like companies for like jobs, like I was telling you about, like from Hypebeast to High Snob to Condé Nast, GQ, like all of these companies, like the major companies, they don't have bread. So it's like now it's like I feel like now as a content creator, it's better off that you're trying to get monetized, like getting monetized off your views, and just trying to take the little small partnerships here and there and figuring out how I can make money. And I think it's a better idea for like content creators like ourselves to figure out like, how can I now offer a brand or a service? Because that is going to be the way you manipulate and make your money versus trying to rely solely on collaborations and partnerships. Because if you rely on that, the way that the current administration and government and economy is set up, you're not going to be able to really do what you got to do.
Nah, so I want to talk about that then, because there was a big article that came out that eBay acquired Depop. In my mind, every time I hear something, like even when GOAT acquired Grailed, and that was like back in 2023, I think, when GOAT acquired Grailed, I'm just like,
I didn't mind that one as much.
But I'm like, I have fought and shopped on Grailed so much. That's probably where I get most of like my pieces to this day.
I ain't gonna lie, I was a Depop wizard.
Oh, okay. So I'm a Grailed demon. I'm a demon on Grailed.
I am too. Don't get it. Don't definitely I don't want to get it misconstrued.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about Depop from the aspect of like I was a seller. You get what I'm saying? So like like 2019, I wasn't only like doing the fit picks, I was really thrifting. So like a lot of like my money to get fly came from going to the thrift. So I would take that. I'm going right on Depop. I remember I had 1,000 sold. The crazy thing is, like, I'm still fighting to get my Depop back because they deactivated my Depop because I wasn't using it. I stopped buying off of there and stopped selling off of there. So But like like I had 1,000 reviews. Like my Depop was really crazy. So like when I seen that with eBay, I was like, oh man, like this, I could already tell the direction that they're about to take this in. The fees, like sometimes they were doing like free seller fees, free buy.
Yeah,
All that is done. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
but
No. So where I was going with that, because I'm somebody that pays attention like to this, but I also pay attention to like what's going on in the economy. And I think about how fickle the US economy is, where it's like, you got companies like Microsoft, Google, Nvidia, which are basically the backbone of this entire economy. Like if those companies fail, this whole thing will topple. And I'm like, all these companies are now becoming conglomerates. I'm like, how bad, like it makes me think like how bad is the economy really? Because you would think Depop is Depop, and you would think Grailed is Grailed and Gold is Gold, but like now they're all housed under one thing. That like I always think like was it on the verge of like collapsing, or like was it on the verge of like I always think about like where is it currently, like what's the current landscape of like just the economy if all these things are being.
I feel like, to play devil's advocate, like the economy is definitely terrible. It's horrible. But at the same time, it's like a lot of people don't really want to, like, in today's day and age, actually like run a business and deal with politics and tariffs and all this other stuff. So on the seller side, I mean, I watch a lot of Shark Tank, so I think about like different aspects of the business. A lot of people don't actually want to run a business. So Depop owners are probably like, yo, you give me 1.5 bill, I'm cool. Like you can have it and I'm chilling. You know what I mean? After I pay my employees and I give a severance and I do this and I do that, I'm probably taking away 500-600 M's. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They found out the exit strategy that they want to get. Yeah. So I mean, I respect it, but I always think like, damn, like, bro, like what's going on, bro? What's going on? There was something else that you said I wanted to touch on, but I think I'm forgetting that question at the moment. Damn, what else did you say? You said something. Anyways, it'll come back to me. I want to get back to, we talked about your content creation, but I want to get into like the styling and how did that come about, because you style, athletes and all that. And I feel like that's a lane that a lot of people want to get into. So let's talk about like where that came about and like how you wanted to, like how you broke into that space.
I had a friend. Or, well, let me not say a friend. I had several friends that were already styling, but styling in completely different mediums. And essentially, I realized like once I stopped like having the brand that like I felt like my talent wasn't like really. I had a talent for, instead of creating something from scratch, putting things that were already created together. And I feel like that's kind of where I knew that styling would be a better aspect for me. So when I saw a few of my friends like kind of doing it, I would ask certain questions or whatever the case may be. And I had this one friend, she particularly she worked at Kith at the time. And she's popping on social media as well. But she was basically recommending me like, I was like, how do you start? You know what I mean? She was like, well, first I would like volunteer. I would style your friends, but all in all, get your own camera, right? Get like some type of camera, get like a film camera, whatever the case may be, and just start shooting things and doing things for free. So that's kind of like how I started. So I started by like styling like some local clothing brands that my homies had. And then I just went into like COVID, I just went into like straight DMing people like, yo, because I feel like I had a non-traditional route. A lot of people that I know nowadays, like they'll try to assist like a bigger stylist. And then from there, you assist a bigger stylist for like a minute. You build your connections from there, and then you go off on your own. That's what a lot of people's like normal things. I feel like me and my friends, we had like a non-traditional route. Like a couple of my friends, they already have motion on social media. So like a lot of these like celebrities or athletes will just take their word from being fly. I felt like I didn't really have like a crazy following. I still don't. So I just started shooting my way into DMs. So I shot my way into DMs. I ended up shooting it to, I don't know if you watch basketball, but if you watch basketball, I shot it to Tyrese Haliburton. He was
I mean, that's a I don't watch basketball, but there are certain names that just ring a bell. Like that is a name that you just know.
Yeah, so I shot it to Haliburton, and he was all for it, but it was like COVID, so like it was like, how is this going to really work? So basically, I was just shooting him looks, like I was just like working for free. Basically, I was like, oh, yo, you should get this, this, and this, or here's a look for you. You know what I mean? And he'd be like, oh, how can I buy it? So then we would buy certain looks, and then it got to the point where it was like, I'm like, yo, like, what is this really doing for me? I need to like really build a connection, because that's what styling isn't only about like you putting clothes on people. It's actually like you building a relationship with your client. Like that's actually probably the biggest thing. If you can't build a relationship with your client, it's also going to look a certain kind of way too. It's not going to look as authentic. So I basically told him like, yo, like this was like pre-draft. His college season had ended. He was like training in Vegas at the time. So I was like, yo, I'm going to buy my own ticket. I'm going to buy my own hotel, and I'm just going to come to Vegas, and we're just going to get busy, and we're just going to do some stuff. He was like, all right, come on. So I just packed up, like, even though he's a lot taller than me, I had like some things that I felt like would fit him. So I just packed up like whatever I thought was fly in my closet, and I just flew there with a suitcase. It ended up being like, he's like, yo, cancel your hotel. Like, you're just going to stay with me. I said, all right. So I stayed with him. And in that process, I didn't even know what he had planned. We ended up going from Vegas to LA on a road trip. He had some events he had to go to. We had to get scanned into 2K. It was a whole thing like I was exposed to like very fast. So I was like, oh, this is like lit. So in the process, like I bought clothes that I thought would fit him. So like he also had like one of his best friends was his cameraman that he grew up with. So basically like we were just in the process of during that week, we were just shooting looks off the cusp. You know what I mean? So we were just shooting looks, and then we just went from there. And then we kind of like fell out of touch once it came like draft time. I think like he wanted to go in like a different direction, which was cool because like he was supposed to get drafted to the Knicks, which also would have changed the trajectory of things a little bit. He would have been closer to me like aspect wise. But then he went to the Kings, and then the conversation, it just kind of fell off. But that was a great starting point for me to use as a reference to now try to get other clients. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like how it began a little bit.
That's a hell of a, so cold DMs actually work.
At that time, yeah, for sure. Now they got this thing. That's why I hate it now, because now they have this thing where it's like, certain people will turn off their DMs. Like you can't DM a person, you can't comment on stuff. Like I still do it at points in time, but now I try to do it. Like I still DM, but now I kind of like refrain from that. Now I created like a series on my TikTok where like
I seen that.
Where I try to like, I'm like, you know what? How can I like show people my work without like, you're not gonna let me DM you? I always just been the type of person, like, I guess I'm not like a go with the flow type of person. Like anything I do in life, I try to like force my way in there. Like any room, anything, like I try to kick the door down. So I'm like, how can I kick the door down in this? You're not going to let me DM you? Well, I'm going to make a video, and you're probably going to see this video. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, that's kind of like how I do it.
You know what's dope about social media too? It's such a tool, bro. What's dope about social media is even if that video only gets 500 views, I'm not saying that's about like what your videos. I'm just saying like in general, even if that video gets 500 views, that person that you wanted to see it probably saw it. Realistically, like you never know who's watching that video. And I think what you're doing with that series is great because it allows other players too. Like, hold on, I kind of fuck with bro style. Like,
Facts.
I'm gonna hit him up and see if he can style me instead. So like, I think like I was gonna talk about that at some point, but like I think with that series that you're doing, if you're trying to get into styling, I think that's a great approach. I'm not saying people should jack your flow.
Yeah, please don't, please don't. Because I feel like it's a series that like I've been doing it in like, I was like, you know what, how can I like make this unique? So I actually like I have this friend who actually like lives down the hall from me, conveniently enough. And he was like, yo, it would be dope if it was like the same way you were DMing people, if you actually like created like it looked like you guys were already in conversation. So like I create like a DM and everything to it. So it's like I try to do it tastefully where I don't do too many of them because I don't want it oversaturated and I don't want everybody to catch on.
Yeah.
But like I do it every now and then. And traditionally, every time I drop it, it does like numbers. You know what I mean? But like that's why like I try to not overdo it because like one, I don't be wanting people to catch on to the sauce.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like when I do it, I want to make sure it hit for real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you on that. I guess just to wrap up the styling question is how does one, and this isn't intended to like give away the secret, but like
well, let me not say this. When it comes to like giving game and styling, I feel like I'm an open book. Like I just felt like with that I'm not a gatekeeper. I just feel like with that particular thing,
yeah, that's your thing.
I don't want to see nobody else doing it because I haven't seen nobody else doing it the way I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. For like the average person out there that maybe tuned into this video or like they don't follow you, but they about to follow you now because they seen you on here. What's like, how can someone find their own style? I find that's like a thing that people are struggling with in today's time because like, people just copy and paste. They go to TikTok, baggy jean, crop shirt, crop hoodie, shoes. But like a lot of people are wanting to find their own style. So what advice would you give somebody out there that's trying to find their own personal style?
See, that's tough. I feel like the best thing I compare it to is kind of like tasting food. I feel like when you were a baby, you tried a bunch of things and you realize you don't like it. So I feel like me personally, like my lane was like YouTube, Instagram. So like I watch anything between, I'm trying to think of like YouTubers. Like if you really know YouTube, like I watch anything from like Bullet RC, which is like, he was like very sneaker. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he was like very like sneaker focused, like Tony D2 Wild, like these were all like real, or like Kais Omar. You know what I mean? I think he's from the Bay. Like these are all like real, like they don't really get fly. They get fly in their own right. You know what I mean? Not my version of fly. But I watch anything from there, which is like very like the low tier streetwear end of content, to people that are like, I feel like you have kind of like middle tier, which is like more so like a Keezy, you know what I mean? And then I'll go to like my boy Kyron, which I would consider him like upper middle tier. And then you got like the people that are like more in avant-garde. So then you get into like Ken Ijima, you get into Gizmo, you get into, so I watch a bunch of things. So basically it's like when you go to a buffet, you try a little bit of everything. I feel like from there, then I figure out like what's my own lane. So I think like to find your own style, you kind of want to taste or sample a little bit of everything. And then you figure out, well, how can I make this uniquely my own? You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's kind of like how I started it. And that was another reason like why I stopped with the fit picks, to bring it full circle. It's like I felt like everybody that was doing the fit picks, we were all looking the same. Like everybody to me was looking like, especially like in the Northeast, like the standard was like looking like Bloody Osiris. So it's like everybody wanted to take the fit pick and look like this. And that's not like what my goal is. So now that I'm doing it and I realized like, all right, I need to take a step back from this. I need to figure out like what's going to be my own thing. You know what I mean? So yeah. I think to find your own style, you got to try a little bit of everything to see what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what you like and what you don't like.
Yeah. People are skipping that experimenting phase. Like
yeah,
it's gonna cost you because you gotta try different things out. You gotta figure out what you like and what you don't like. But like that experimenting phase is gonna help you so much. People just skip now. They're like, oh, I want to get Gorp core aesthetic, or I want to get this core aesthetic, or this, where it's like, or just test shit out, and then you'll figure out where you kind of fall in like place when it comes to like your own personal style. And also just you can be unique as well, like have different interests. Like I love movies, so like a lot of my fits sometimes, like I saw this in the 90s and like above the rim, or like I saw this from this movie in the early 2000s, like having reference points that a lot of people don't necessarily always pull from. Like people pull from like Ralph Lauren all the time. Had an amazing show, but like you don't have to like you can have things outside of that. I feel like that's an overly saturated conversation at this point now. Like the Ralph Lauren, like much flowers to him. He's done great. I think he really is and encapsulates American fashion. But like that's one conversation I'm tired of seeing on social media, bro. Like the Ralph Tuck, the review of this like I'm just like, okay, bro, Ralph Lauren deserves his flowers, but damn, bro. Like
yeah, that's why like when I made a video on it, I felt like that's why I was saying like the Ralph show to me, it wasn't anything but a Ralph show. Like, you get what I'm saying? I feel like people like Ralph is just already OD, you know what I mean? He's in that Mount Rushmore of just like different things, or maybe not. Well, to some people he might be Mount Rushmore, some people he might not. But I just felt like what made the show wasn't like the actual clothes. It just made the show like he just knows how to make it look like this is something that people are already wearing. And I felt like that's what made it like a good show. So I get what you're saying. Like that conversation is just like it's becoming a little redundant.
Yeah. And don't get confused. He's definitely up there. Like a lot of people are not competing with him, but I'm just saying like it's oversaturated now. Like I've seen too many videos on it. Which I feel like again, the reason I followed you is because you have different takes and I love hearing different takes. What would you say is your most controversial fashion take? I would say menswear. Let's start with menswear and then let's just say fashion. Like, so your most controversial.
My most controversial fashion take? You know what the crazy thing is? Like my takes, when I say it, I don't think it's controversial. And then when it comes out, I guess it is controversial. And then a lot of my friends recently been telling me like, yeah, I'd be asking them like, am I a controversial person? And they'd be like, yeah, but I never really, this is something, I guess like the older you get, you still learn yourself. You know what I mean? I guess like I'm just a controversial person. But to answer your question, I guess like the whole like dupe culture thing, like I just feel like that's done. Like that's clipped. I feel like, and I don't know how to explain it. And I've been really trying to figure out over like the past couple of weeks how to really like articulate it, because I feel like I made a video about the GV gallery thing. I don't know if you've seen that.
These streetwear or Instagram brands have gone too far. All of these Instagram brands, people are saying that these are the top streetwear brands or they're original, but they're really just doing blatant copycat or blatant stealing of other people's ideas and expanding off it. Let's call it that. The brand makes copycat, mimics other people's brands in a post where he's making a direct version of a G-Shock.
Not saying that I started this whole discourse, but after I made that video, I've been seeing way too much discourse about this topic. So I will say, like, I may not have started the discourse, but I snowballed it a little bit. And now everybody's having this conversation about, like, well, everything's a reference, everything is stolen, everything is that. And I feel like people, I guess, like, my most controversial take is, like these brands that are doing this, like, reference or dupe culture need to, A, be done. And two, these brand owners or designers, if they want to call themselves that, they need to actually learn what an actual reference versus stealing a design is, because of two completely different things.
Nah, that video did numbers. I not only saw that on my Instagram feed organically, it was also on Threads. And people was overly.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Yeah, I didn't even know that was on Threads.
Yeah, it was on, like, I don't think you posted it. I think that's what it is. I think somebody else posted it on Threads, and it was overly many comments in there about that. Like,
dang, I gotta go find that now.
Yeah, they was having discourse about the video. If I find it again, I'll send it to you. But I think that's a good point. I think I wanna stay here for a second talking about referencing versus stealing, because, like, I get what you're saying. Like, I absolutely get what you're saying, because let's say 10 years ago, 20 years ago, this duping or referencing culture would have been frowned upon. because like it's like, yo, like you basically stealing, you're not really trying to be your own person or your own brand. And you know, in today's time, people want cheaper versions of something so they can get access to it. So like I understand on both sides of the field of like, you know, if you want this Martin Rose jacket that's like $700, you can't get it. Go for it.
I don't like cutting people off.
No, you good.
It's the attorney in me. It's like people have to understand, and this is the thing. It's like what's meant for you is meant for you. So what I'm saying is like if you cannot afford a Martin Rose jacket, you should not have a Martin Rose jacket. If you can't afford to buy Yeezys and Margiela shoes, and you can only afford to buy Vans, then you need to figure out how to get fly with Converse and Vans. You get what I'm saying? If it's not meant for you to be in a Balenciaga jacket, it's not meant for you. So now don't try to sacrifice your real creative passion, right? To your real aspiration of getting this Martin Rose jacket or getting this Balenciaga jacket for getting the dupe, right? Because it's cheaper on your pocket. No. First of all, if we really want to talk about referencing, all of those pieces were indirectly referenced from another piece previously, right? So go get the original piece because it's going to be much cheaper for you. You know what I mean? If you can't afford to do something, do what's in your means. Don't live above your means. I mean, sometimes like I'm also guilty of that. I buy things that are above my means, right? Who doesn't? But it's like you can't let this culture consume you. And a lot of people, like, they become GV addicts. You know what I mean? That's what I like to call them. Like, and that's another thing too. And I feel like people don't really understand. I was just having this conversation actually right before we got on this call with my mans. He sent me a video of somebody talking about GV Gallery. And I hate to keep using that brand, but it's just the epitome of everything going on right now. But it's a kid basically saying, like, why are we acting like we didn't know that GV made dupes? And I could tell this is a direct spin off of my video. And it's like, nobody is acting like GV didn't come out saying they make dupes. I have no problem with GV trying to make money. My problem is with the consumer because they think that they need things that they don't necessarily need. So now they push and fund brands like GV's and make all these other brands think it's okay to now copy and mimic culture. And that's the real problem. If brands don't, a brand or a company doesn't run without a product and a consumer. And if the consumer buys the product, then you have the brand. You get what I'm saying? So now you guys are putting your hard-earned money working these penny pinching jobs because you can't afford the Balenciaga, but I can afford this. It's like, bro, you're just funding this, and they're just creating direct references of what they're making. Like, bro just made a Chrome Hearts tank top that says raspberry on it. You get what I'm saying? And it's literally a Hanes tank top. Like, bro, go get you a Hanes tank top. Like, bro, that don't make no sense. Like, that's why I feel like there's a huge disconnect. And I felt like then it was like GV was like thinking I'm taking shots at him. And it's really not about that. And you know what I mean? I feel like also it's like my other thing is like, I guess this is a controversial take. I don't know if this is in fashion or whatever. This might be in content. If you put yourself on the internet in any short shape or fashion, whether you're a designer, you're a content creation or whatever, you need to be okay with constructive criticism. You need to be okay with having some type of controversy and not always take it as slight and disrespect. Because just because I'm giving my aspect on my perspective on something doesn't mean I'm actually disrespecting you.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. I think now that you explained it, because I watched the video, and you know, not speaking about them in general, or I'm not speaking about them, but like just in general, a lot of people are a little bit more emotional now. So it's like they take everything as disrespect. Everything is disrespect. It could be like, you know, somebody could watch one of your videos and be like, I don't like your take on it. And most people will react, man, fuck you. Like they go tweak out because it's like they'll ignore the 50 comments saying like, oh, this is a great video. I understand your perspective. But that one comment that says, oh, this is bad. Now it's like, okay, now I'm about to really get into it. So it's just I think it's a human trait now at this point to like get that reaction from like somebody giving criticism on something that you're doing. I don't know. But now that you explain it like that, though, I definitely understand it because it could create a snowball effect of like everything's going to be a dupe. Everything is going to be a dupe. Like whether it be like the Balenciaga jeans, this, Dior jacket, Heli Sylvain, and like all that.
But this is another thing too. It's like a reference is a dupe is two completely different things. Like a dupe is like GV took that Martine jacket, made the same exact jacket, but he changed the color to green and just said raspberry. That's a dupe. Martine saw the inspiration of older track jackets and said, you know what? I'm going to crop this in the body. I'm going to elongate the sleeve. She made a completely different pattern. The color blocking is different. The striping is different. I put my logo on it. It's a new jacket. That jacket is clearly a reference of all old track jackets. It's part of her culture. You get what I'm saying? Like her in Jamaican heritage culture, everybody was wearing track jackets. You know what I mean? If you know Martine, you know why this jacket is even part of her collection. You know what I mean? But it's a difference between making a new product from a reference, you're referring to a previous idea, and then actually just taking 101 and just changing a color of the word. That's a dupe. And that's a lot of things that people have misconstrued.
Yeah.
Like for instance, even this hoodie I'm wearing, right? My homie made this hoodie. This is a Harley Davidson reference. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, he took it and like made it his own. You get what I'm saying? We know where it comes from, but it's like, yo, you got to take it and spin it. You know what I mean? And that's what I feel like people are, or they're walking a tightrope on what the lines are. You know what I mean? And a lot of, actually, they're not even walk. They're kind of just on, you know what? We just going to dupe culture. This is easy money. You know what I mean? We're about to just get this bread. And if I was into that, I would be like, all right, I would do it too. Don't blame it. There's so many sheep culture now, so many sheep consumers that they don't know no better. They want to buy it. But then there's also the people that are like, they don't really get fly. They just want to wear something nice to go to a dinner or hang out with the homies. So they buy brands like that. And that's okay. You know what I'm saying? But my problem is the people that's actually in it, in the fashion, in this, putting it on like, oh yeah, this is like, it's not a problem. And that's a completely different topic. Now, if you're not in it, yeah, buy GV, buy whatever. Yeah, go ahead. Do you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm also not the person that's going to tell you, I'm not the end all be all. I ain't God. So I ain't going to tell you what you can and can't wear.
Nah, that's a fact. It's kind of like sneakers. I don't know if you've seen like the increase of people doing the DH gate hauls where they get like 6 pairs of sneakers for like $200. Like, that's why I like the point that you said. If you can't afford it, do not live outside of your means. Like, why would you buy us some Travis Scotts, some some Nigels, and like there's 6 other shoes in this box, and you spend $200? Why are you trying to have the appearance of something that you know is not the actual thing?
The thing is about it is I feel like with that particularly, it's like, I understand why they're doing it. They're trying to figure out like, okay, how can I get popping off of socials, but I don't have the means to do so. So now I'm going to try to buy this, and this to make a certain image. So that way I can try to get to thousands of followers. You know what I mean? But they have to look at it like, yo, if you're really somebody that is truly in this, you know what I mean? You grind it from the bottom. Like, I started with thrifting. You know what I mean? Now I buy some luxury items, you know what I mean? But I never buy them at full price. I get them where I can fit in, you know what I mean? But people also like to run from the grind, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's what those people are. Like, if you're willing to buy that, you're telling me that you're willing to run from the grind, basically. You know what I mean?
Damn, I didn't ever think about it like that. That's actually that's a very solid argument. I like that. Yeah, I like that. So what would you say then? What are some brands that really just like you admire the work that they're doing because they're not, overly referencing, they're not overly duping, they're not overly like they're being their own thing? Like, what are some brands that really align with your style and taste?
Can it be?
It could be anything. Anything.
Off the top, I would say I would go, if we're going like small brands, I would go with Bare Knuckles on the smaller end.
Okay.
That's like my go-to. I have all denim. Bare Knuckles. It's a great foundation. And I feel like a lot of people, they miss like essentials and foundation in their wardrobe. If I had to go to like the next tier, I would probably go Stussy, because like they're the most classic, nostalgic. I remember I was buying Stussy and Zoomies, you know what I mean? And this was before I even really knew what Stussy really was, you know what I mean? So like now that I'm actually older and I'm really spending my own hard-earned money on it, I'm like, okay, like I really understand this now. So I would go Stussy. If I had to jump a tier, I would then go like Martine. Martine is big for me. In that same level kind of perspective, I would also go Stussy, then I would go Martine, then I would go Wells Bonner, Grace, she doing her thing, and I will go Willie Chavaria. On the high end for me is like Comme des Garçons, and then there's Margiela. Like that's my thing. But I think like one of the like a middle tier also is like kind of reaching that luxury price point is my man Spencer Badu. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Oh,
but
yeah, I don't think I've heard that.
You should definitely, you will probably like a lot of his stuff. But that's actually a homie of mine. He's actually like on Essence, like in a lot of designer stores now. But he is a African American. He's an African designer based out of Toronto, and I love his stuff. I wear a bunch of. I own a lot of Spencer, for sure.
You said it was Spencer Badu?
Spencer Badu, yeah,
I'm about to
he's
check
next
him out.
for sure. Like for sure.
I'm gonna have to check out his work then. Always like this really what it's all about for me, man. Like figuring out what else is out there. I think for a long time, fashion was, Supreme was the end all be all, or LV was the end all be all. But now it's like, I think of brands like when I'm like really in need of a piece, I'm like Bodie. I need a Bodie piece bad, or like I need an Our Legacy piece bad, or I need a Kiko piece bad. Like it's so many brands out there now, and like my scope has been widened since like I graduated college, and I love figuring out new brands to like support, and like they actually putting together some shit. Like I just bought some new Our Legacy jeans.
Our Legacy go for sure.
Yeah.
I don't own it, but a lot of times like I do try to like dress clients in it for sure, because I feel like that's another brand that has like a really, really good foundation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and that personally, I've owned, the highest grade of denim that you could buy. I've owned, 12 ounce, 15 ounce, and the selvage and all that. If you are somebody that don't necessarily care about all that and you just need a really good pair of jeans, they third cut jeans.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, nah. Like they really like that for real.
Yeah.
In the vein of talking about fashion, what is a current trend happening right now that you think is just not gonna last? Like it's maybe gonna last to 2026 and it's not going past that. Why you think about that? I'm gonna share mine real quick. Okay. I think overly baggy is on his way out. I think it's on his way out.
That's done.
I think it's on his way out.
I think well, actually, I don't think, let me not say that. I don't think it's done, but I think that people are going to start like mixing other things in. Like even me, I never was overly baggy ever, but like I definitely like Bare Knuckles, like they have the Javier cut. It's more of like a wider pant, you know what I mean? And that's kind of like how I like my jeans. But even so, I've been buying recently more like straight cut denim. A trend, honestly, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like you brought the best one with like the overly baggy. I think also people are going to, I'm hoping people get away from like these Dupe brand cultures. I feel like that's a trend. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that comes to my mind, honestly, off top.
Whether, and again, I don't want to focus on that brand, but I'm just saying like these dudes is making money. Like
no, they are
overly making money. So it's like
But my whole thing is like, if the shoe surgeon can get sued, if John Geiger can get sued, like, just because like these people are doing all this stuff and they haven't faced the repercussions yet, doesn't mean that like the Nikes, the everything, you can be in a collaboration with them, just like GV did. John Geiger and all of these brands had collaborations with bigger. Shoe Surgeon had a collaboration with Nike and just got served last year. You know what I mean? Just because you're doing it doesn't mean they're not building that cease and desist, not building that case. You know what I mean? So it's going to come to an end eventually, for sure.
I forgot about the shoe surgeons.
Yeah, they did them greasy. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Well, then Nike sent that to Babe too, didn't they?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like something is gonna come to a halt at end. Like, just because like, and I also like working in legal, like doing internships and stuff. Like, you can't just make a claim or a lawsuit or a cease and desist or take somebody to court. Like, it takes years to do discovery and build evidence and come up with all these type of files. You know what I mean? So I think like these brands, they only got a certain amount more time. You know what I mean? We seen what happened to Cool Kai. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That's I don't even think they reached a resolution on that. You know what I mean? Or maybe they reached a settlement.
The more you keep bringing up all these people, I remember like this was like 2021, 2022. There was like everybody was making a Jordan 1 rendition. Everybody and their mama. I mean, people was changing the swoosh to the Statue of Liberty. People was changing the swoosh to all type of shit. And I think now that I really sit and think about it, that's probably where my disdain for the Jordan 1s like really started. Because I really don't care for Jordan 1s anymore. And I used to overly rock them.
You know, it's crazy. I just was looking at them Unions and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should bring these back this year.
Yeah, the Unions. I mean, the Unions are the Unions. Like, but like when you start bringing up all these other sneaker companies that were making these dupes, I think that's where my disdain for Jordan 1s really started. Was so many people taking the Dunk or the Jordan 1 and just fucking having his way with it. Like,
I felt like my disdain for it. Yeah, I do agree with you, but I felt like my disdain for it was when they started doing the too many colorways. That's what really ruined it for me. It was like they were really doing it with the colorways, but now I feel like ones is kind of like not really prevalent right now. Yeah, so I'm like, all right, maybe this is my opportunity to like back on it. You know what I mean?
But the OGs always go them cats that's like 40 and 50, like the Jordan 1 is just the Jordan 1 of them. Damn, you know what else that makes me think of? The cheat code to a successful post in like the 2020, 2021, 2022. If you had a varsity jacket, some slim pants, and Jordan 1s, that was a recipe for easily getting 1,000 likes.
Facts.
200 shares and 500 saves. Like, that was a cheat code for a very long time, bro.
Facts.
The varsity epidemic, bro. You can do no wrong with that.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact.
All right. So I want to ask this question. Because in some way I always want to make it like when I had Jay Tips on, I asked him about music, film, and then a mogul. But like, since you're more into fashion, I want to ask this question of like one brand to retire. Like, if it was going today, like we need to retire this brand today. One to revive. So like one that's not around anymore that you would like to see it come back. And then a brand that you will want to reach out to style for.
We can put a plug on Kith.
Oh damn! I didn't think
we can put a plug on Kith. A lot of people not gonna like that. They're not gonna like that.
That's like some. That's some.
You can put a plug on that.
That's some people like for real. End all be all. Like they'll drop like the Kith from head to toe.
Yeah, you can put a plug on that. I'm good. And that's not even no shot at Ronnie. I just feel like we don't really need that. Like what? I just feel like what does that add to the culture? You get what I'm saying? Like Ronnie does good things every now and then, you know what I mean? But I like it more when it's like a Ronnie Feig collaboration, like ASIC. You know what I mean? I would prefer him to just be Ronnie Feig collaborating with these brands than it should be a Kith thing. and allow Kith to actually be what it was, which is like a mecca, like where you could buy all these clothes at. You know what I mean? That's what I like Kith for. Like when I go, I like the store Kith, like to shop there. You know what I mean? But the brand itself, Kith, we can do that. I'm done with that. We don't need that. What was it? What was the next one? I know you said a
Revive
brand.
to bring back.
I need Ye to bring back the regular Easy mainline. Like I feel like I understand the point of like the affordability and everything that he's doing right now, but I need like that first few seasons of Yeezy. I need him to bring that back. I need him to bring that back for sure. Like that was one of them ones because like we got the duck boots. We're also still missing a lot of pieces. Like even when he had that show at Madison Square Garden, I actually walked in that show too. And there were some things that I seen that still never made it to the light of day. So
that's
like,
Black History. What the fuck?
yeah, like that was a crazy experience. That was a crazy.
Bro, that is like you could have watched that video today and get the heaviest hit of nostalgia ever.
Yeah, no,
it's like damn, this time, like what was that, 2016?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that was like my first real run-in where it was like, wow, like now I don't get the same feeling because like I've been in like certain rooms, so I think that everybody is equals, you know what I mean? Like as far as like celebrity wise. But at that time, it was like a real shock to me where like Young Thug is right next to me, like Vic Mensa's there, you know what I'm saying? Yachty's there, Ian Connor, like everybody's around. Like if you wanted to talk to somebody, they were there. You know what I mean? Kim Kardashian is right there. Ye and Trav, everybody was there. That was like the first time that was there. So I think like to bring full circle, Yeezy, bring that back. The original Yeezy, the first couple seasons, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think they did up to 6, or maybe it was 7. But bring that back for sure. One brand that I would work with styling wise.
Yeah, to reach out to. Like if they was watching right now, they was like, oh damn, he want to work with us? Like, who would that be?
I like to do things that are like full circle moments. So I would say Louis Vuitton just because I worked there.
Oh, okay.
I worked there not that long ago, actually. So I would love to bring it full circle. Like they actually had like they developed like a fashion stylist role that I really wanted. And I think that would like really be full circle for me. Like if I was actually able to do some work with that, yeah, I think that would be full circle for me for sure.
How do you think Pharrell's been handling his time with Louis Vuitton?
See, that's another thing. A lot of people, the problem is right. The disconnect is, to answer your question, I do a lot of like running around. I'm sorry. I feel like Pharrell is handling it very good because Louis Vuitton is the only brand that doesn't have a house code, meaning that like there's no particular aesthetic to how the clothes have to look. Because before Virgil, there wasn't really menswear. You get what I'm saying? There really wasn't that. They had like design team, but there wasn't like menswear. So there's no house code. So to me, it's like going season to season. Pharrell's doing his thing. You know what I mean? Because each season looks like its own thing. Now he's over like the past 2 to 3 seasons. I would say he's trying to make it a house code. And I also think that he's probably facing some backlash from the top in regards to like just things I know about the company, like sales and stuff like that. So now he's trying to now make an aesthetic for Louis Vuitton. But overall, I think that Pharrell's doing a great job. I just feel like a lot of times people don't catch on to it until one, it's too late. So like even Virgil pieces, I feel like people didn't really people were wearing Virgil because of like Bloody O and other people putting it on, but it doesn't really hit until later on. But 2, a lot of people don't really understand Pharrell's pieces because they haven't actually put it on. And the fact that I worked there and I put on the garments, I understand Pharrell's design is actually really crazy.
I fight for a lot of people. They actually got to get hands on things. I find there's a lot of judgment pass on certain brands because you don't actually feel it, or you're not styling it. You don't see how it like really flows in person. So I feel like that's a good note to add. Because like I mean, to be fair, I thought it was gonna be worse.
Yeah.
I think when obviously untimely passing with Virgil, I think he had some shoes to fill that people didn't think he was gonna be able to fill, and I think he's been holding his own. Do I think it's like this grandiose thing? I can't personally say it's like, you know, so eye-catching sometimes, but I do recognize when something's good. Like, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh yeah, he's not Virgil. It's like, bro, he's his own person. He has his own perspective on things. I think there are certain things where I look at it, I'm like, okay, I could get jiggy with that. So
Facts.
yeah. Kind of just like a last question. You know, we've talked a lot about content creation, talked about fashion, and just the overall space as a whole. Kind of just like to bring it around. Where do you see content creation in the next 5 to 10 years? Because we have AI influencers. A lot of people are now becoming influencers. Hell, I see people in their 50s picking up cameras and trying to be on camera now. So it's like the space is, from when I started even till now, I know it's different. And I know people beyond that, like in like the 2015s and people who are making content, I know it's like completely different. So like thinking in the future, let's say 2030 or 2035, like where do you see this space?
I believe the space right now is getting to the point where it's starting to become saturated, right? I think in 5 years from now, it's going to be even overly saturated, right? But the crazy thing is, I was actually just sending my man's a TikTok. He's actually like looking for a job in marketing. Funny enough that you said that. And the TikTok, the girl was basically saying how like a lot of these tech companies, essentially, I'm gonna bring it full circle, is looking for, they're not actually looking for people that have tech work or coding or stuff like that. They're looking for marketers, because you can't buy taste. You know what I mean? You can't like AI taste. You know what I mean? So to bring it full circle, I would say like, although I think it's getting saturated, right? I think at the end of the day, if you got a taste or a perspective that is unique to yourself, you're gonna do fine. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's just with anything. So like, we gonna all get fly and do fit pics and do content and do videos on the gram, but when you got your own unique perspective, like, and you have taste and your own taste at that, it's like you can't teach that. So I don't think that, I think, yeah, it's going to get more overly saturated, but I don't think that like there's too many people with taste. So I don't really worry about that.
That's it. I think, again, to talk about something I talked about earlier, the reason that I gravitated to your account is because I'm not hearing the same regurgitated perspectives that I see across my Explore page or that I see on TikTok. I'm like, oh damn, like, because you go against the grain about shit that people would die about. Like, people would die about that GB. Oh God.
Yo, and you know what's the crazy thing is? I didn't understand that. But people, bro, every day there's 10 people. The thing about me is like, I also like don't run from no smoke either. So like, when you comment on my, if you comment on my page, you're probably gonna get a response from me. So like if you go down that GV video on TikTok, I responded to at least 80 to 90% of the people on there. And every day I get at least 5 to 10 comments on that same video. It's still going, that video. So like I'm still responding to these people. So I didn't really understand that people will really die on that GV hill for real.
Bro, they die beyond that shit, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
I will say though, I watched the Denim Tears one. I was like, I can't get down with this one. I fuck with Denim
This
Tears.
is my thing. Like, it's like, the crazy thing is like I met Tremaine. Like, I really like Tremaine. I like what the brand stands for. I love it. The cotton reef is not what it was.
It's trash. I will say that. It's trash.
Okay, so my whole thing is now, especially where I'm from, it became the scammer, drug dealer, essential staple. You know what I mean? And you need that. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, it funds the brand. That doesn't mean I have to like it though. And that same time in token, it's like, the problem is like, if I have to scour through your website to find maybe 1 or 2 pieces that I like, I'm going to say overall consensus, your brand is not that good. That's how I see it. Because any other brand that, like even the brands that I've named earlier that you asked me about, I like a good 90% of the pieces that are on there. It doesn't mean that I'm going to buy all 90% of it, but it doesn't mean that I don't think these pieces are bad. But when I go to Denim Tears, I actually think some of these pieces are bad. Or not some, majority of these pieces are bad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's okay. I literally, them shorts that I talked about in the video, they shipped them joints out. I just got those yesterday. They shipped them the very next day. I got them. I'm cool with them. Because it's very few and far between. But Tremaine is actually the only person that I will give that courtesy to, where like, even though his brand, I think it sucks, I'm still, because I rock with Tremaine, I'm going to give him the courtesy to actually look through his website and be like, yo, this is fire. I'm about to buy something from this. You know what I mean?
And I'm going on record. So this is not me trying to like agree with you in a sense. I've gone on record and said the cotton reef stuff, I'm never wearing that. I'm never touching it. And
to be fair, I did at a point in time wear that stuff. So I just want to make sure that's on the record.
Yeah,
I did wear that, but that was before, and like the cotton reef I was wearing wasn't the cotton reef everybody wearing. The cotton reef they're wearing, that people are wearing, they're wearing the cotton reef that's off of like Levi's collaboration in the new Denim Tears line. No, I waited in line at Pro Sale Vintage when Tremaine did a collab with the Met and Pro Sale for vintage denim, and he slapped the, like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I was saying, I've made videos talking about collections from Denim Tears. And whenever I see the cotton reef, it's an instant no for me. It just reminds me of like the box logo for Supreme. Like that's the thing that keeps the business afloat, that people could buy in bulk. And I thought that was like everything that made up Denim Tears. I was like, oh, he's just selling cotton reef. That's weak. But when I really started diving into his collections and like the mainline stuff aside, I was like, hold on. He had more than just reefs? Like I want to say 8 pieces at this point of like Denim Tears things in my closet that I paid full price for. Like I'm talking $200-$300 for it. So like I like his brand, but I think like what you said, when I see too much of the reef, when like the first page loads and it's just reefs, I'm probably gonna click out.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm probably gonna click out. But when you start seeing like, you know, he did some bandanas with like a lot of, you know, historical revolutionaries. He does like, you know, this gingham shirt that like, that's my most worn shirt in my closet. Or he does a unique take on a Type 2 jacket. That's the shit that I like. That's the shit that I'm like, okay, so he's more than just this. Like he could get busy with it. So yeah, I agree. Like it's like a, you know, the give and take, because people love the reef. I see the reef when I go outside, and I see the reef when I'm on Instagram. So I know it's popping, but it just ain't me.
Facts.
It just ain't me. All right, cool, man. I appreciate this conversation, bro. Again, it's the weekend day. You could be doing anything else. You know, you spent your time with me, chopped it up with my, you know, subscribers on here. His @ will be below in the description. So definitely give him a follow. I think, again, he has unique perspectives that's outside of the norm. So again, that's what gravitated me to your page. And I think it needs to be more of that in this space for sure, bro.
I appreciate that.
So I had to give you your flowers. Because I think it's needed. It's needed.
I appreciate you having me. I appreciate that for sure.
For sure. But man, without further ado, like I always do, I will catch y'all in that next one.
Love the way you work it. Hey, I love the way you work it for me.